Hello friends, welcome to Gardening with Creekside. I am Jenny and here we are in the Gatsby Gal area, and we're going to be planting up 3 different containers that will tie in to this space and the rest of the garden. So without further ado, we are first going to be planting up, this is actually the bottom of a hanging basket. We had some gorgeous pansies and violas in here excuse me, this fall, left over from the nursery, and I was at the end of the season, I was like, why in the world am I gonna toss those plants when that hanging basket is so beautiful? So I just went ahead and brought it on over and took the handle off of it and plopped it right in the middle of the flower bed, and it gave me months of enjoyment. So they are clearly done. It is a very warm and toasty day here in North Carolina. So I am switching out the pansies and violas, and we're going to move to some hot weather loving plants like calibrachoa and salvias. So I am simply filling up my container. I put the bottom third, I did fill up with the land and seed compost because that is a great way to retain a little bit of moisture at the bottom and an extra set of food once those roots hit that bottom container. The plants we're going to use today are going to be something different than what we typically use in the fact of just from their source. Our plant broker, so this is Ron, is the guy that we place all of our plant orders through, and we just love and adore Ron. He takes excellent care of us. Well, he sent us some samples from another from one of his clients, and so I have had a lot of fun playing with them and adding them in, and so we're going to use those today. This is a white salvia, gorgeous silvery blue kind of gray foliage on it, but a really pretty white bloom on it. So this will get nice and tall, and I have all the specs on the screen for you, and then of course it'll fill out. So this is going to be our centerpiece, and then we're going to surround it with these really fun calibrachoas. This is the ombre pink. Reminds me a lot very much of the new one from Proven Winners, the pink lemonade, but I have had some time to play with this because I already have them in a container. They start out this beautiful, soft, like a yellow color, and then they transition to different shades of pink, and then they end with being this really hot pink color. So I've had a lot of fun watching them change and develop. I don't know if the Proven Winners Super Bells will do the same as this calibrachoa. That will be something fun to try out. That is why these are trial plants, because we get to trial them and see how they do in our garden. So we have the ombre pink that is going to go in here, and we're just going to do the whole circle around here with these guys. It's going to be so much fun. Of course, the calibrachoas do really well for us in our containers, not necessarily our landscape, because they do typically like to have dry feet. They don't like to have a really wet, soggy bottom, and with our clay soil, it will, a lot of times our soil will retain too much moisture and they just kind of rot and they just don't look very good at all. So that's why we use our calibrachoas in containers like this one. I do have irrigation in this bed, and I do have a drip line really close by. So if at some point in the season, if I'm finding that I'm having to water these, you know, a lot, then I can easily tap into my irrigation and put a little drip line in here. Won't be a problem. That's why when I was laying the irrigation in here, I designed it that way. So already very simple little container that this one is going to be. We're going to pop it in there, and I ended up with 1 salvia and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of the ombre pink. Now they came in these little cell packs. We grew them out, but again, really fun, lots of really vibrant colors will tie in well here. My dianthus is starting to bloom, that nice magenta, that's paint the town magenta, and my creeping phlox is starting to kind of fade away. So the timing is perfect. Dianthus is blooming, phlox is kind of fading away. I've got baptisia blooming, and then, oh, the generous gardener back there, man, she has put on a show starting today. Oh, absolutely stunning blooms on that thing. So excited. All right, so without further ado, I have found that my mama was the one that kind of turned me onto this trick, is to take a little bit of your land and sea and top dress in here with that land and sea. Cleans it up. It does add a little bit. Oop, I got ahead of myself. Slow release fertilizer. I'm going to shake it just straight on top of the plants, and then what I do to get that slow release off the plant, because sometimes if you leave that fertilizer actually touching the foliage, like sitting on the foliage, it'll burn it. So if you notice that when you're fertilizing your plants and you start to see burned edges, it could be that you've got fertilizer that has been left on the plant, on the foliage of the plant, and that it's burning it. So if you see that, little brown crispy edges, that could be a possibility of what's going on. So just a little tip on that. So top dress with that little bit of land and sea. Get everybody in there. Once we're all planted, I'll get the hose at one time and water everybody in, because we're right here all at the same spot. But man, simple, very simple one right here, easy peasy. They're all gonna be pretty simple, but they're all gonna tie in very nicely together. So next on tap is the rectangle hummingbird trough down here. So let's move on down here and get that one planted. Look who I found. I found a sweet little toad in my flower bed, and he's peeing all over me. Oh, blessed. We'll go put him back now. Alrighty, my friends, so I've got the trough filled up with a nice bottom layer of compost, and then the potting soil on top of it. This is the rectangle hummingbird planter from Unique Stone. I absolutely love it. I have the square one just directly behind the camera that has the lavender in it. And so in here, we are going to mimic, repeat, continue some of the same plants that we had in the little hanging basket round, and we're going to put them also into the rectangle. So again, take those same plants, repeat it throughout your garden. If you can see on the other side of the generous gardener, there is a cobalt blue pot that has the salvia in it, it has the calibrachoas, and it has the scaevola that we're going to use too. So again, all ties in together. Here, as my centerpiece, I'm going to use Proven Winners, the Color Blaze Newly Noir Coleus, for a couple of reasons. One, it's a great plant. Two, it does have that gorgeous burgundy, deep, deep, deep color to it, which again will tie into the Forest Pansy Redbud. I have the Proven Winners Dark Side of the Moon, a steel beet directly behind this container, so that will tie into it. Then I have Chocolate Shogun, a steel beet right up here, that will tie into it. So all of these colors all are tying in together well. So different plants, same color. So that's another little tip for you. So what I'm going to do is because you really will only see this from the two sides in the front, you won't see it from the back side, because hopefully you're not going to be standing in my flower bed. So again, I'm going to pack it, I'm going to do this one a little bit fuller because I've not grown these salvias before. Well, I say that, and then I'm like, nah. Okay, so this is how Jenny gardens. I kind of do it on the fly. So I do know that Newly Noir will get huge. Not sure about the salvias. So my question is, do I do one salvia on each side, or do I do two salvias on each side? And thinking, First of all, we're gonna play this. Okay, I'm a visual person. So let's say we have one here, so I can kind of offset them, right? I have one there, and then I could bring one up here. Now I know though, my coleus is going to get huge. Or I could just have kind of one on the end and one on the end there and watch it fill in. I think that's what I'm gonna do, because I am planting this container for longevity. If I were hosting a party or a get together this weekend and I wanted this full, I would jam pack the plants in there. I would use more salvias than I am right now, but I am planting this container for longevity. So again, when you're putting your planters together, think of what your goals are. What are your purpose in doing this? My purpose here is to bring me beauty for many months on end where I'm not having to water it a ton. Again, there is an irrigation line right back here. So if I ever need to tap into that and put a dripper in here, not a problem, I can do that. But I think I'm gonna be happy because I do know that this coleus will get huge. The salvia is definitely gonna get bigger. I mean, obviously it's a salvia. So that's what we're gonna do. Okay, see, we have to talk these things through together. And thanks for your input, I sure do appreciate it. All right, now for a little bit of different, something fun, we are gonna use this scaevola. Now, this is another sample that Ron had sent to us, and this is, if I can get it out of the container here, this is Touch Indigo, and it is a scaevola. Scaevolas do like the sun. Right now, we're getting some cloud cover and wind. I actually heard some thunder in the distance. I pray we get a thunderstorm because we are so incredibly dry around here. We have not had a good rain in weeks, and so I hope it rains. I have a feeling though it probably won't because it's the weather. So my point in telling you all that about the weather is that this container is going to start to go into some afternoon shade. We're about mid-afternoon right now, so it's going to start to go into the shade, but the sun comes up right here and it is hot right here, trust me. I feel the heat coming off these rocks. So these are considered full sun plants. Full sun is 6 hours. These definitely get 6 hours, but they will get a break from the afternoon setting sun that goes right here because of this beautiful forest pansy redbud. I am only going to put 2 scaevolas in here because this Touch Indigo, the spacing on it is 2 to 3 feet. Definitely is going to fill in. Again, if I were planting this for an instant impact, I would add a lot more, but I am going for longevity, so I am going to keep it on the sparse side. Now, okay, we're going to come back to our ombre pink calibrachoas, and we're going to fill in the front of this container, and then we'll be done planting this container. So the rains did come. I tell you, as soon as I say, oh, it's not gonna rain, it never rains. And what does it do? It rains. So hey, we'll take it. So we're gonna have a brief rain delay and then we'll get right back to your local gardening channel. All right, y'all. You know, as soon as I said, oh, when it's not gonna rain, it's gonna miss us, whoosh, the bottom dropped out easy. And So we got a good little rain for, I don't know, maybe 10 minutes, and then the sun immediately comes out. So if you are from the south, you know what that means as far as the humidity. Yep, it's a little sticky out here right now. Thank goodness this is the last one. So while I was waiting on the last little bits of rumblings of thunder to go away, I went ahead and finished up top dressing that trough. I didn't show that because I knew my YouTube, Facebook, social media mamas out there would be fussing at me because I was outside when the thunder was still rumbling, but what you don't know won't hurt you. All right, so we're going to keep this really simple right here. We're going to do another Newly Noir in the center, and then I'm going to chock it full of those calibrachoas. Now, this is not the easiest spot to shoot as far as like a really pretty camera angle, because honestly what you're seeing right here in this shot is not a very pretty space. I fully recognize that. This garden shed used to be our chicken coop. It needs to be repainted. It needs some TLC. It is just getting moved down the to-do list further and further as other emergencies, more important matters arise. So Grace and gardening, right? Also, this section right here, that used to be the chicken run, hence that is why there is chicken wire still up there. We have planted the early wonder camellia. We planted 2 of them. They will give me long term, they will give me a screening on that. In this little section we keep our firewood for the fire pit and the lawnmower, and then my garden cart goes in there. I plan on planting 2 clematis that will obviously be perennials to give me flowers and to cover it that way. But that, of course, will take some time to get that done. So in the meantime, what I'm going to do is plant 2 of the coconut appeal black-eyed Susan vines, because that will give me basically instant coverage this summer and will cover this entire chicken wire right here and hide that. So that is on the to-do list for another day. Right now, we're going to fill this up with those pink ombres, and then we'll be done for the day after we water. All right, my friends, we are done for today's project. I have got all of the planters are done. They're planted. This is the last one to be watered. Even though we got that downpour for just a couple of minutes, it really was not enough to soak all the way through these containers. So I want to make sure that they're nice, watered in, and they are very happy. But again, I know I keep preaching this in all of these recent planting videos, is when you have a garden space, if you can pick a handful of plants and repeat it throughout your garden in more than just one spot, it really ties the whole garden together. So here we actually have some type of combination of these plants in 4 different locations. We have the small little basket planter here. I've got the rectangle hummingbird planter. I've got the window box on the garden shed, and then back there in the blue pot, I have it again. So as you're going, you have boom, 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 boom. Draws your eye down, it ties it all in. They're still within that same color family, and it just creates a nice smooth transition for your garden. These are things that we just learn. The more you garden, the more you visit other gardens, the more you talk to other gardeners and how they design their gardens. These are things that you learn. So Hopefully you have found something helpful in this video. I will say we do not have these plants except for the Nulina Or available at the nursery. These, the Calibrachoas, the Salvia, and the Scaevola were all samples sent to us to try out. So we do not have these available for sale. I am just trialing them to see how they do. If we like them, then next year we will have them available for you. But as always, thanks so much for gardening with Creekside. Y'all have a fantabulous day, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye, friends.